Hey everyone, imagine this for a second. You're walking through life feeling pretty solid, pretty whole, and then out of nowhere, you notice a tiny, almost invisible crack. It might seem like a flaw, a weakness, but what if that very crack is actually how the light gets in? That profound thought, borrowed from a Leonard Cohen poem, is the heart of the incredible book we're talking about today, How the Light Gets In by Louise Penny. And trust me, it's a journey you won't want to miss. So why this book? Well, I picked it up because I heard it was a mystery. And I love a good detective story, but what I found was so much more than just a whodunit. It's a deeply human tale, full of the kind of insights that stick with you long after you've turned the last page. Penny, an absolute master storyteller, invites us into the seemingly idyllic, snow-covered village of Three Pines in rural Quebec, where the biggest drama is usually whether the bistro is serving maple syrup with its crepes. At first, it all starts with the simple yet unsettling plea for help. Myrna Landers, the village bookstore owner and a wonderful, rounded character, by the way, reaches out to Chief Inspector Armand Comic because her friend, Constance Pinut, a 77-year-old woman, hasn't shown up for Christmas as planned. Now, Comic is a man you immediately warm to, kind, distinguished, more like a professor than a cop, smelling of sandalwood with a hint of rose. You just know he's the kind of person you'd trust with anything, but as he begins to look into Constance's disappearance, he quickly realizes this isn't just a simple missing persons case. No, this goes deep, tying into Quebec's history and the famous, almost mythic family, the Oleg quintuplets. You might be thinking, the Oleg Krins? I thought they were all dead, and you'd be right to wonder, because that's what everyone believed. These quintuplets were a phenomenon, born during the Depression, natural quintuplets who survived against all odds. Practically a miracle, but Constance was one of them, living quietly in Montreal, having reinvented herself, even taking her mother's maiden name, Pinot. The author was inspired by the real-life Dion quintuplets, and she uses the fictional wallets to explore the complex, often tragic, reality of life's life under intense public scrutiny. As Comet digs into Constance's past, he discovers that her life and the lives of her sisters were meticulously manufactured. They were plucked from their humble farm, made into a public spectacle, literally packaged and sold to the world. Their childhoods were a gilded life without privacy or freedom. And here's where it gets heartbreaking. Constance, despite having four sisters always around her, was actually desperately lonely. Myrna, her therapist, eventually understood that Constance's biggest burden was her secret identity, a burden she desperately wanted to shed before she died. So what was the real story behind Constance and her sisters? And why would someone want her dead now? Decades later, the investigation starts to reveal not just one murder, but another, far older one, concealed for decades: the death of one of the other quintuplets, Virginie, which was recorded as an accident but might have been suicide, or even murder. The secret, this albatross around Constance's neck, was what she was trying to unburden herself of, what she was trying to share with Myrna through clues, including a knitted hat that held a shocking truth. But this book isn't just about a historical family mystery, it swiftly broadens into a high-stakes, deeply personal battle against corruption at the highest levels of the Sûreté du Québec itself. Our beloved Chief Inspector Gomic finds himself professionally marginalized, his department gutted by Chief Superintendent Francoeur, a man who appears distinguished but is utterly ruthless. Francoeur and his right-hand man, Tassier, are orchestrating a horrifying plot that connects to decades-old, unchecked corruption in the construction industry, involving the province's premier, Georges Renard. This part of the story feels incredibly urgent. Comic, along with his loyal, patient inspector Isabelle Lacoste, and the brilliant, eccentric retired superintendent Beres Bruno and her cyber-genius husband, Jerome, become a small, isolated team fighting an invisible enemy within their own ranks. They're literally hiding out in Three Pines, using the village's unique lack of cell service and internet connectivity as a foxhole, an unseen base from which Jerome tries to hack into the Sûreté's heavily guarded network. It's a clever move, transforming a hunting blind high in a tree into a makeshift transmission tower, hoping to sneak past the guards. Now you might ask, how did they even uncover something so massive? Well, it's through seemingly unrelated threats, like the suspicious death of a woman named Audrey Valinov, who worked for the Ministry of Transportation and saw something she shouldn't have in construction contracts, that billions of dollars in repairs on bridges and tunnels were never actually done. Her fear of the collapsing Villamori tunnel was rooted in a terrifying truth. She'd been murdered for this knowledge, and the killer even sold proof, a memory stick, into her party dress. Thinking it would be safe there, the tension builds as Comic and his small team race against time. From Kurt and his allies are tracking them, using Comic's own vulnerable protege, Jean Guy Wolver, who is battling a painful addiction, as a pawn and a distraction. The novel delves into the heartbreaking consequences of addiction, showing how it can steal a person's judgment, loyalty, and even their soul. Wolver's internal struggle, his deep-seated issues stemming from a past trauma, are masterfully explored, making you feel every tremor of his hand, every whisper of his self-loathing. So what's the big plan behind all this corruption? It's revealed to be far more sinister than just graft. The conspirators intend to let the Champlain Bridge collapse, blaming the Canadian federal government to create a crisis that will justify their rise to ultimate power. The plot is meticulously designed to create chaos, to manufacture outrage, and to manipulate public opinion. What does this book really tell us? Firstly, it's a testament to the idea that truth, no matter how deeply buried or carefully obscured, always finds a way to surface. Whether it's the secrets of the oligarchs, the hidden corruption within a trusted institution, or the personal demons that haunt us, the light eventually gets in. Secondly, it highlights the immense courage it takes to be kind, in a world that often rewards cruelty and ruthlessness. Comic stands as a beacon of integrity, proving that true strength lies not in force, but in compassion, patience, and unwavering moral conviction. He believes that goodness existed, even in the most desperate places. Finally, it's a powerful reminder that healing is possible, even from the deepest wounds. The village of Three Pines itself acts as a sanctuary, offering space and time for characters like Comic and the Brunels to recover and for Jean Guy Wolver to find a path to redemption. If you're looking for a book that's more than just a plot, something that makes you think about the nature of humanity, the impact of celebrity, the insidious creep of corruption, and the enduring power of hope and healing, then How the Light Gets In is absolutely for you. It's a story that reminds us that even when everything seems to be falling apart, those very cracks are opportunities for light to flood in, revealing truth, fostering connection, and ultimately allowing us to find our way home. Go read it. Seriously, you won't regret it.